So we are going to learn about even and odd problems in this video. Well, first of all, let's start by discussing what an even number is. An even number is basically any number which is a multiple of 2. So think of 2, of course, it is a multiple of 2, 4, 6, 8, and so forth. Any number which is a multiple of 2 is an even number. Similarly, we have odd numbers. Now, odd number is exactly the opposite of an even number. So any number which is not a multiple of 2 is going to be an odd number. So can you think of a number which is an odd number? Well, let me help you out. Let's say 3, 7, 9. All these numbers are not multiples of 2. Hence, they qualify as odd numbers. Now, when it comes to these the problems in Qudraat exams, there are two types of rules that you need to know with regards to even and odd problems. The first one we are going to discuss are the multiplication rules. What you need to know is if we are going to multiply an even number with another even number, we get an even number. If we multiply an even number with an odd number, we get an even number. And if we multiply an odd number with another odd number, we get an odd number. So I want you to carefully remember these rules because they are going to be important in the kind of problem that you are going to see. Let us try out an example based on that. Now here's an example. Let x be even and y be odd. Then what is going to be x times y? When it is written like this, it means x and y are being multiplied. So let us see what is going to be the result of this multiplication. Well, remember that x is even and y is odd. So can you tell which rule out of these three is going to be applied? Now, because x is even and then y is odd, we're basically looking at this particular rule. And we know that the result of this is going to be an even number. So hence, our answer over here is going to be even. The next problem we have, test out what will happen if we get x squared times y. Well, remember this time that x squared times y implies that x times y, right? So x squared basically means that you have to multiply x by itself, right? Now again, following the same rule, we know that x is even, right? So x times x is going to be even times even. Well, which rule applies in that case? We have this rule that should be applied, right? So because x times x and x are both even, we get an even number according to this rule. So x squared is going to be even. Let me write that down. So that's x squared. What about y? Well, y is odd, right? So what is going to be the result of that? Even times odd. That's again the second rule that we have over here. Hence, as a result, we are going to get an even number again as a result. So that's the answer for this one. Now that's the multiplication rules. But what about the addition rules? Well, addition rules are again quite similar. If we add an even number or subtract an even number with another even number, we get an even number. If we add or subtract an even with an odd number, we get an odd number. And if we add or subtract an odd number with another odd number, we get an even number. Now let's see what a problem related to these rules will look like. So let x be an even number and y be an odd number, just like the example we did before. Now x plus y is, what is that going to be? Is that going to be even or odd? Well, let us use the rules to reason about this. Remember, x is even and y is odd. So which one out of these rules will apply? Even and odd? Well, this one, right? This one applies for both when numbers are getting added or subtracted. And we know the result of this is going to be odd just by memorizing this rule. So that's going to be our answer over here. What about this last problem? Well, you see, there is not just addition going on, there is also multiplication going on over here first. X, since that is even, times y, since that is odd. We recall one of the rules that we studied earlier about multiplication. Remember that when we multiply an even number with an odd number, we get an even number. As a result, coming back over here, the multiplication of this should give us an even number. Then we remember that x is again an even number. So we are down to the problem of addition. Again, looking at the rules over here, we know that if we add an even number with another even number, we get an even number. Now, it's really important that you practice this concept before you move on to the next concept.